Good morning, sir. Are we live now? Thank you, Gaurav, sir. Yes, good morning, one and all. And I'm Dr. Arjan Singh. And on behalf of Shri Sai Group of Institutes, I welcome you all in the fourth day of this National FDP on Research and Innovation. And I would like to thanks to all the participants for attending all the sessions with their great interest. And now Dr. Nitin is with us with his second session. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the
Good,
session, sir.
good morning, sir. Thank you, sir. Add the doctorate or doctor before the name, and some for entering the academia, like to enter in the academic post. PhD is the necessity. So, second was there that research is actually the perception to confirmation, out of which you can say perception is something that you think it of, but you cannot act upon. Development, that is the second phase in which you actually find some solution related to that perception. Third is indication, in which you at a position that you found some result, you can go ahead. Enlightenment is something that you found some solution. Yes, it is a eureka moment for you. And confirmation is actually to apply the solution and to get the good results. Yes, that your idea is better. But there is one thing to note down, that good idea come at bad time. So it can come at the driving time or eating time or sleeping time. So what you have to do, just write it down instantly. There are some of the research gaps are also available. So foundations are there. We can usually divide it into 6 parts. In these 6 parts, first is the objectives or selection of topic. Means you have to select that what is the topic, and for selecting that, the motivation from daily routine comes to you. There may happen some of the routines, incidents, or the problems that motivate you to work towards a topic. Second part is literature. Yes, you have to study that what you are facing the problem, and to fulfill that problem solution, you need to research that what other people have done. Because if you are thinking about some of the solution, then you should know that is it already done or not. Third part is collection of data. Yes, you need to collect some data because you have to apply some tools, some results you have to get, so that it will be good for you and all. And analysis and interpretation. Yes, you have to analyze the result so that you can compare that your results or your technique is better or not. Then finally you come to conclusion, you can in which you can recommend for the organizations, yes, that you can go for this, it is having the better results. Future aspects is to motivate others. That is the sixth part of this foundation of research. That if you will do this, then result will be something like this. So there is also a minute difference between research or innovation. When you do research, it increases the knowledge or it is the add-on to the knowledge. But if you do it in a way like to get some royalty or some money, then it becomes little bit towards innovation. Like you can open the entrepreneurship with that. Some problem identification formulation key points are there, which we usually don't concentrate. You can consider it by this pyramid, in which upper class, middle class, and below poverty line is there. You have to think it that whatever the research problem you are going to solve, that should be new, that should be relevant to the society, and that should be relevant to the society which is maximum getting affected by this. So the problem which is in maximum area should be selected. For the effective literature, please don't copy and paste every time the literature. It should be by your own. Read out the things which is already proposed and propose it in your way. Write it in your way. That should be informative and should have some critical facts that it is done. It can be modified in this way. It can be done like this, so that user can come to know that okay, this is also the possibility. So that is the effective literature. And academic writing and reporting, it is little bit different than the, you can say, the newspaper reading. It should be precise and concise, and it should have some knowledgeable facts that this is done with. Like you can see in case of newspapers, you can also see the pictures are there, the writing part is there. But in case of academic writing, it is much more than that. Like equations are there, like referencing are there. So we all work on the facts and proofs. That is the references also. Then some patent and research project, some discussion was there on that day, that patent is anything new that should be undiscovered, or you can say you have to actualize that. It can be any thought, it can be any concept, it can be a research paper. You can utilize your research paper to get patent. It can be any design, it can be any logo, so that you can get it patent, and later on you can sell it. So this is the process which depicted for the patent, in which first part is publication. Yes, you have to publicize your patent, that this is your concept, that you want to publish it. Then it will get under the examination purpose. After examination, you will get some response. It will be in a state of 1 year, so that if anyone else in this country or somewhere else have the response, like it has already been done by him or her, it can be responded. If it is there, then you can make some amendments so that it can go for the necessary compliance. If it is not there, means if the person does not get any response, like it has already been done, then you can go for the purpose of grant. Like maybe you have seen in some of the, in you can say every company or organization, the design of the car get changed after every 3 years. Why it is so? Because that needs some changes, and that is the renewal purpose. And before that grant, yes, you can sell your design, your idea, your thought, so that you can get some grant from that organization. Similarly, the project, it is little bit different than patent. What is the difference? It is also anything new, but it can also have some improvement only. And mainly in India, hardware-based projects are being considered. Project is something that you say, if anything is going to be in say 10 rupees, and you get to optimize it with say 5 rupees, then you can say that your project is much more effective, so that the cost can be reduced. So that is the main purpose of project. And in case of project, definitely you need some kind of funding, so that you can make or form this project. For the funding agencies, DST, UGC, AICT, FICCI, Millennium, and so many agencies are there. These are the government agencies. But besides this, there are some of the private universities or organizations that also provide you the funding. Like in Chitkara University, as because I'm from Chitkara University, so here the Seed and Novate Plus is also those events through which funding can be provided. Latest, it has been published, and 61 projects have also been shortlisted. In case of travel grant, yes, if you want to go outside India for traveling, for say publishing a paper or presenting a paper, you can also apply for travel grant in DST or UGC or AIC. So many other organizations are there. So now we will, that was the round back about day 1. Now we will go towards day 4, because in between this you have followed day 2 and day 3, in which the optimization have been covered. Whatever is you have been made, that can be optimized. So those been wonderfully expressed by Dr. Neeraj. So now I'm going towards day 4, in which our topic is research paper writing skills. Okay, now first of all, whenever you are going to write a paper, you definitely know the first part is title. Title is actually what? Title is the first look of your paper. Any person who is going to find out the paper will firstly see the title of your paper. So I'm assuming that you are going to make the title in such a way that it should be limited to 10 to 16 words. Means all the things that I'm going to present over here is not actually the benchmark. You can say that you should be only between 10 to 16. It cannot be less than 10, or it cannot be greater than 16. It is not so. But it is better if you will put your title words limited to 10 to 16. Second is, it should be relevant to the manuscript matter, because maximum time it comes to the point by the reviewer or by the editor that your manuscript is not highlighted or is not summarized by the title. Your title is something different than the matter of the manuscript or the paper. It should be in a single phrase. Yes, title should be in single phrase. It should not be in a sentence. Like it should be this, like here you can say research paper writing skill. It is not like this. A research paper writing skill should be done in this manner. It is not like this. So it should be single phrase, or you can say quotes. So informative and precise. Yes, the title should be so informative that it predict your paper. It can predict your manuscript. It should be specific. It should not be so much long, and should not be like this, that this has been done by this person for this reason and it will be applied to this purpose. It should not be so much long. And grammatically correct, yes, of course, everything, not only title, full paper should be grammatically correct. Avoid the abbreviation. Yes, you can use the abbreviation. For example, in some of the papers, if it is say written underwater wireless sensor network, but if you will use the abbreviation UWSN, it is not there, you cannot use it. You can use the abbreviation for underwater wireless sensor network is UWSN. You can use this abbreviation, but it is better to avoid it. Second part is, after the title, is the author's affiliation. Yes, of course, it is your affiliation. It should be in such a way that should be looking good. Although the journals, different journals are there and they convert those affiliations as per their criteria. But whenever you submit your paper, it should be in precise and formatted manner. It should be like as per the university criteria, because some of the universities claim for NB and NAC accreditation that your affiliation should be like in this manner. Say I'm Dr. Nitin Goyal, so I would like to write it as Chitkara University Institute of Engineering and Technology, comma, Chitkara University, comma, Rajpura, comma, Punjab, in such a way. So you can also write it in this way wherever you want as per your university. So that should be seen. Otherwise, that will not get counted under the NB or NAC accreditation. So those papers are uncountable otherwise. Doctor, Mr., Miss, that's not required in your paper. So it's better to avoid these solutions before that. But while making the registration for the papers to get submitted in journal, there while making the profile, they can ask, you have to fill that. Also, if there is any corresponding author, whether it may be you or it may be someone else, then put the star for there. What is the significance of star? It is actually for deciding the capability, or you can say for deciding the responsibility, that who is going to respond to the journal. For example, if I'm going to show you any of my paper where you can say that it has been done or not. So in this case, you can see I have mentioned it here, star, but the journal people removes that star, and instead of writing it star, they have written it as correspondence Nitin Goyal, like this. So they can modify it as per their requirement, but you have to write it in such a way that it should be with star. Like here you can see it is the example where star have been mentioned. Says that if I'm finding this the problem of data aggregation, say you are going to aggregate the data, then it can be utilized in an area where the redundancy is much. So the data should be aggregated so that redundancy could not get transferred, extra energy should not get consumed. So these are some of the practical applications, or some areas also be mentioned. Then the fourth part is keyword or the index terms. Index terms should be there in between 4 to 8. Why we write it? Why index terms or keywords are used? It is there for search optimization. Why? Whenever you are going to search something, it could come up with the title that has been already published, and also with the keywords that you are using in your manuscript. If these keywords are mentioned, it will go into the search part. After this search, you will be able to people will be able to get your paper. So that's why it should be good enough, and it should be ranged between 4 to 8. Then the fifth part is the introduction. Introduction can be 2 to 3 pages long, or it may depend upon the number of pages of the full paper. Suppose you are going to make a paper of say 10 pages, then there maximum 2 pages are sufficient. But if you're going to make a paper, or maybe you have seen the papers that is say 50 or 60 pages long, then there 3 is the minimum range for the introduction part. Why introduction? Introduction should be for the person who is going to have the little bit knowledge about your area and wants to know more. So it should go from broad topic area to your problem area. Suppose again, I'm going to take an example that you are utilizing, say, underwater sensor network, and you are going to do some data aggregation. So from broad area, that is, you have to start from underwater wireless sensor network to the problem area, that is data aggregation. So that person come to know that, okay, this is underwater sensor network, these are the fields in this, and out of these fields, you are going to solve the problem of data aggregation. Why it is important, how it is important, that's been done in those 2 or 3 pages. Next part, that is the sixth part, is motivation. That should also be the part of introduction. In some of the cases, it's been mentioned after the introduction or separately. Why it is there? Motivation is to know that why you came to this topic. So you should have mentioned that how you came to this problem. You can mention that it is the problem over there by this effect, this negativity is going to be happen. It can be limited, it can be lessened by doing this, and it should happen with real life example. So it's better to utilize the real life example while mentioning the motivation. Next, or the seventh part, is literature review or the related work. Usually, people do this related work part. It is the mandatory portion. In some of the journals, it is the part of introduction. So, introduction and literature are combined, but it is better to mention it separate from your side. Rest depends upon the latest number of papers or papers published in that journal in which you are going to communicate. Literature should be qualitative, from the qualitative journal or the conference. It should not be from the journals in which you say some predicate journals, you can say, in which you are going to submit the paper in the morning and your paper is getting accepted in the evening. So that should not be from those journals. And exceptions are always there, no issue. And scope of improvement, that is the foremost requirement that you have to mention. Means what is already done. Maximum people do that this is done in this paper, this is done in this paper, but they don't mention that what is the scope of improvement in those papers. And third part is tabular comparison. While writing the literature, everybody thinks that, okay, I have written this literature survey and my work is done. But that should not be done. A tabular comparison is much more appreciated these days in journals. So write whatever you have done in literature, whatever you have shown in a tabular form. What should be there? What should be there in table? Because already you have mentioned everything. In the table, the journal name, the journal publication house like Springer, Wiley, it can be mentioned. Year can be mentioned. The benefits from that paper can be mentioned. Disadvantage or the scope of improvement, where it is, it should be mentioned. What can be done further, it should be mentioned in that tabular comparison. So that will make your literature better, but don't copy and paste directly. Please avoid that. Eighth part is methodology or technique detail. Whatever your technique or method or scheme is there that you are going to depict, that should be there in this methodology detail. In methodology detail, it's better to put the algorithm. Instead, some people, what they do, they just mention the steps that you have to do this, second, then further you have to do this. It should not be like that. It should look like a method or a algorithm. What here in this part, other than algorithm, if you are going to have some experimental mathematical survey or mathematical analysis in that, then that will be add on to your methodology. It should be novel. So if people are expecting to have the plagiarism report of their paper, but if the plagiarism, even little bit plagiarism, is coming to your methodology part, then the reviewer or the editor comes to know that it is not a novel method. So to avoid that part, the technique should be novel, and it should be novel enough that even 1% of plagiarism should not come over there. Try to avoid that. Next is experimentation or simulation result or discussion, you can say. It is the main or the most important part of any manuscript. The results can be either in plus or it can be minus. Means you are going to apply some technique, and that result of that technique can be positive, can be negative. It can also be there that you are taking the 5 or 6 quality of parameters, and out of those 5 or 6 parameters, say 3 or 4 parameters are in plus, means you are getting good result, but 1 or 2 parameters are not having the good result. But what you do at that time, either people discard that parameter, quality of service parameter, or somehow they don't mention that parameter, or they erroneously increase the range or the figures and mention that. So it should not be there. If you're still having the negative results, you can mention in the part of future work, you can mention that it can be improved or it will be improved in the next work. It should be also mentioned that why it is. In maximum cases, what people do, they just simply show the graph and write it as shown in the graph. This will happen, this goes this goes this, but it should not be there. As because graph is only to show the uh, scope of improvement or how much you have improved, that has been shown by the help of graph. But why that output is coming, that should also be mentioned for each and every graph. This creates the impact in the manuscript. Average. Every time take the average of readings. The person who is doing the simulation definitely knowing about this, that they are going to have the simulation or the so many rounds of the experiment, and always take the average of all those 2 or 3 rounds so that a precise or concise result can come into play. It should not be like there that you have run the simulation 3 or 4 times and the best result out of those 3 or 4 times that you will consider or mention. That should not be there. You have to take the average of all those 3 or 4 times simulation that you have done. Multiple times, yes, you have to do the simulation or the experimentation part multiple times, because if you are doing it only for 1 or 2 times, it may be there that the results are not better, that results are not expected. But if you're going to run it multiple times, it can come. Or it can be there that for the first time when you are taking the less parameters, the results are good, but if you take more parameters, then results are not good. So that's why you have to do it for multiple times. You can use the Excel, the Origin, or the WebPlot for plotting the graph. These days, Excel graph are also much more good. You can utilize them. Origin is also there because it is always a problem for the researcher to make the graph what can be used. So other things are also there, but people can utilize these three Excel, Origin, and WebPlot. The uh, graphs are really good. No issues in that. Then the next part comes towards summary or the conclusion. In this summary or conclusion part, it is also very much important as in the abstract, but people mix it with the abstract. It is something little bit, you can say, different than the abstract. How? In summary or conclusion part, you have to do in such a way that this has been done, this got solved, like this. But in the abstract part, it was something like that this will be done, it will get solved, it has to be done. So there is a slight difference. First difference is this. Second, in abstract, you have mentioned that this will be tried in this manner. But in conclusion, you will write that this has been done by utilizing this. So it can be A, it can be B, as because due to this FDP, it is for all streams. So it can be different for different areas. People, mechanical people, the computer people, the electronics people can write as per their own criteria or field or the topic. Also, it should be mentioned in 2 to 3 lines. Also, what is the problem that you have solved? That should be mentioned in this summary. That was not there maybe in abstract. Should be mentioned in 1 to 2 lines that previously it was going on due to the lack of this, but in this paper as presented or in this research, I have presented this topic or this matter by which this problem will get resolved. So that is the summary or the conclusion. You should be something specific. In abstract, it was not there. That what specific, what is specific improvement. But in
Sorry
case of yes, sir.
Sir, we have 2 to 3 minutes more.
Okay, sir. I will cover that again. Or
yes,
cover.
Thank you.
It should be something specific, like this percentage or 60 or 70% improvement, then this is going on. That was not there in abstract. That should be as per the journal specification. Reference writing and citation. In detail, you can see my video is also there through the channel Dr. Nitin Goyal. YouTube channel is Dr. Nitin Goyal. I would like to a little bit summarize within 1 minute over here. That why references? Yes, it's to give the authors to credit and never give the citation in between the text. It should be either at the end or it should be either at the starting. But it can be in the literature like this, according to this, according to that, but should not be like in between as mentioned over here. Some APA style format are there. This is the format that we usually utilize for APA format. Rest, it can be changed. How it can be changed? This is some of the ways to cite and to change the way these references. One is using the Google Scholar. Yes, you can open the scholar.google.com. Over there, you just simply have to type the title of the paper, and you can have the multiple option of like APA, IEEE, Harvard. Similarly, for scientist for me.com is there. Utilize that, and Note and Mendeley is also there to write the references. Some of the key points, that is the last slide for today. You have to mention the case study, that should be there. It attracts the people based on the real life examples. Some annexer and lemma is also there. That should be based upon the mathematical proofing. Author profile should also be there for creating the impact, and that should be within 100 to 200 words only. Plagiarism report should also be attached, although the people don't require, the journal don't require it, but if you will mention it, if you will attaching it, then it will create the impact that you have no plagiarism or very less plagiarism. Format of paper, although the journal don't require the formatting, but if you are going to do the latest formatting of the paper or the latest publication, and according to those publication you are going to make the format of your paper, then it will be much more good for them, because the people can go directly to it. They don't need to do formatting. Coding package, yes, it avoided maximum time, but if you are going to have the little bit proof of your results, then you can go towards this. So that's all from my side, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nitin Goyal, sir. Thanks for this wonderful session. And now I would like to invite our respected principal, sir, for a vote of thanks. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Arjun, for the invitation. Respected Dr. Nitin Goyal, distinguished participants, and my dear friends, it gives me a great pleasure to express my gratitude on this special day. On behalf of the Honorable Management of Shri Sai Group of Institution Pathankot and the organizing team, I express my heartfelt thanks to Professor Nitin Goyal for his valuable contribution to this 1 week national FDP on research and innovation. I'm sure participants would have earned a lot from his presentation. This was a great opportunity to hear from such a distinguished resource person, and this will surely be going to encourage us in the future events as well. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and have shown us a new path. We hope to be connected with you in the future events as well. I extend my gratitude to Dr. Nitin Goyal and all the participants for joining us in this national 1 week faculty development program. Thank you all the participants. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.